Happy Halloween season, everybody out there. Middle
Damn,
of
that's
October.
loud.
Isn't that loud? It's a good. It just gets you
Wake
going.
up.
Wake up,
Oh,
motherfuckers!
I'm
It's
going,
the pint.
all right.
It's the pint, and we are here with Scary Larry's House of Horrors live special. We had a live special a couple weeks ago. It was a trivia special. Well, this one is like a live episode. We're going to be
I
talking
think that
about.
just ended, right? I
It
think
just
the
ended.
trivia-
Yeah, it just ended.
What was
It
the
just
last
ended.
question?
I don't remember.
Let's
Yeah,
go
it-
Hellraiser.
Yeah, it was about a director, and Stu's wife said Steven Spielberg for the 800th time.
Right.
We love you, Amanda. So on this episode, we are here. No one called it the Lamont configuration. We are here to talk about Hellraiser 2022, I guess. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to ask Larry. I'm going to ask you, what
Okay.
would you say this is? Is it a remake? Is it a reboot? Is it a sequel? Is it a rebootquel? What is this movie? Because in my opinion,
It's a reimagining.
yeah,
It's a new story.
Mm.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
new story, which I appreciate. Don't fuck with the original. I appreciate a new story.
Right.
Maybe called the. This is like a. I don't remember when this started. Maybe like 10 years ago. This whole like naming shit the same as past shit. Like right. I think the first one I remember. I think was the Thing.
Dead?
the
right?
Thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like I was like, so is this a remake? And then it turned out it was a prequel. I'm like, well, why didn't they call it like the Thing, the early
Pre-Thing.
years or something? Like I don't, like, and then then it just started like everything started doing it, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, come up with a different title. Like, I don't know. So yeah, this is just a reimagining. It's a new story, basically.
Larry, by the
That's
way,
the launching pad for all the new ones they're gonna put out.
eventually, yeah. Larry, by the way, the way you're sitting, that board behind you looks like a knife in the side of your head. It's
Yeah,
pretty
dude,
fucking cool.
I do Zoom meetings at work like this, and people are like, just you've got to. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yep.
All right, so of course, Scary Larry, and then of course, my partner in this all, the Manster. Manster, do you agree? You consider this like a reimagining?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's definitely not a reboot. It's a reimagining.
A remake would almost make you think that it would
remake.
have to be the same story, right? Just with new actors, and it's not.
Yeah,
It's
not the
just
same
taking
story.
it's taking familiar elements, and of course, we have to have when we're talking about Clive Barker shit, we have to have the officer Mike Simonetta on because he is a. We do love you, Stu. We do love you, Stu. Mike has to come on though to talk about Clive Barker with his Black Cat to add in for the season. Now, Mike, you are a huge fan. I asked you to do this a couple days ago. You said you had not watched it yet. As a huge Clive Barker fan, and someone who admittedly has sat through probably 8 shitty movies, that of Hellraiser films. Were you looking forward to this, or were you dreading this, or you didn't care at this point?
I was looking forward to it a little because the other ones have been so fucking awful. The fact that they were going back, and I read Clive Barker's website, and he was working with them a little, giving us some ideas and stuff. So I was like, this might not be bad. And the idea of reimagining it with, I have no problem with the fact that Pinhead's a woman now, so I was kind of excited to see if they do something different. So I was looking forward to it, hesitantly, but still looking forward to it.
All right. And Patrick brings up a quick, good, I guess, question. It is true. Who knows? I would say a remake to me means that you're taking the same story and just redoing it, almost like Psycho '98 versus Psycho. Even though that's a shot for shot, same story, same characters, just doing it over again. I think a reboot is when you just start everything over and say fuck it, and we're gonna start with this concept again. And then maybe a reimagining is just taking a familiar concept. It's almost like a reboot, I guess you could say. I don't know. There's a lot of gray lines and all that stuff. So Hellraiser was released in theaters at Austin Fantastic Fest, September 28th of this year, but it's a Hulu original, so it came out last week, October 7th. Directed by David Bruckner. He made The Ritual, which was one of my favorites from the last 5 years.
Good one.
I love that movie.
Dude, Night House was even better.
And Night House, which I have not seen yet.
Much better.
Which I
like The Ritual, but Night House was much better.
Okay,
Really?
I really
Not
dug
heard
Ritual.
great things about that.
Well, then whoever said that is fucking stupid.
Stupid assholes.
Some Larry guy.
So this was written by David Goyer, who is pretty well known.
Goiter?
Goiter. He has a big
Goiter.
big Goiter. He wrote the Dark Knight trilogy along with Christopher Nolan, the Blade movies as well. But he also wrote it with a couple of guys, Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski, and those guys wrote The Night House. So they were brought along. It was filmed between August and October of last year during COVID. And the first scene of the movie says it takes place, or at least the first scene, Belgrade, Serbia. This movie was entirely filmed in Belgrade, Serbia. So
was it the whole thing? Okay.
whole thing filmed in Serbia.
All
Yeah. So Manster, before we jump into the movie, why don't we go through the cast? Who was in this thing?
Who was in this thing? Odessa Zion.
Perfect.
That was the girl, Riley McKendry. Basically a young girl struggling with addiction. I don't know. That part of the story didn't really do anything for me.
I kind of agree because I feel like they start the movie right off the bat where they're like, she's an addict, and they bring it up like, oh, we don't drink around her, she's an addict. Yeah. And then the movie is about, if you've seen Hellraiser, it's about like this addiction to pain and pleasure and what this box can do. And I'm thinking the whole time she's going to become like fucking crazily addicted to this box. She is in a way, she plays with it a little bit too much, but it doesn't pan out like to be as heavy as you think it's going to be. And interesting, yeah, well, Patrick, fuck this guy, Patrick, man. I love him so much. He said just what I was about to say is her mother is Pamela Adlon, who, if you don't know her, you know her because she's the voice of Bobby Hill. So,
Fuck is Bobby Hill?
Hey, Bobby Hill, King of the Hill. Yeah, I forgot. You've never seen an episode of The
Judge's
Simpsons.
cartoon King
Mike
of the Hill.
Judge's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I know Mike Judge.
We love you, Patrick. We love you.
I think that's an old staple that she's an addict because, they did that with the whatever with the new version of Ash, when they did the Evil Dead, she was an addict. And then it even goes back to like The Shining. I think the idea is that if you're an addict of something, then you're not believed for the first 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
You're
Very-
like, I saw
very
something
and you see
scary.
crazy shit
No.
that other people.
Some fucked up shit just came out.
Right.
Yeah, it's just because
If you're either an addict or have some past problems, like mental problems, like where you've maybe seen psychiatrists or something, like those are two common tropes where you can get through half a movie with nobody believing you. Like, oh my God, there's a scary monster. And no, that dude's just crazy, or that dude's just high. Like, yeah, so very common trope.
Yeah. All right. Who else we got?
Her
Manster?
brother was such a dick for, the way he was treating her. Like, here's your sister that you love and you're trying to take care of, and you just treat her.
I don't know.
No, I kind of agree. He's been dealing with her shit so long that he's tired of dealing with her shit. And he's trying to live his life. By the way, her brother, I couldn't not think this when I watched it. Tom Gady. He looked like gay Tom Brady. He was just a little bit skinnier. I couldn't get that out of my head throughout the whole movie.
Are you implying that Tom Brady is not gay? Like,
well, there's a good possibility there too.
Yeah, because I'm not positive. I'm not sold on that.
Stu says, "Dude, bro was 1,000,000,000% justified."
Yeah, as somebody who grew up with a heroin addict for a brother, that's where you go. That's where at some point you have to cut the fucking cord and just.
All I'm saying is, in the course of this movie, she doesn't prove any of that. You don't see any of that, and I don't trust that guy for 1 second.
You don't trust the brother?
No.
But did you trust? But did you trust the guy?
And then she took pills.
She took pills. She got all
and
fucking.
She got drunk. Well, I know she was drunk, but she was drinking.
I don't know.
Lloyd ain't taking it. Lloyd's a fucking enabler.
I don't
Lloyd's
buy that guy.
Clearly an enabler.
Nah.
Wow.
No, that's not it.
Who else we got, Lloyd?
All right, then we have Jamie Clayton as the Hell Priest. Some might call her Pinhead, the leader of the Cenobites.
I liked her.
Very pretty lady. My God.
Yeah, I liked her. I didn't find myself taken aback by not seeing Doug Bradley. I thought she played it well. I will say this, and we'll get into it as we go through the movie. The design of the Cenobites were cool. There was a lot of cool designs going on, different things. Kind of had the Chatterer. You had like that lady who was all flayed up top and everything. I prefer the S&M leather look over that like kind of like peeled skin, like visage. That I thought that was a little bit lesser to me. I like that heavy apron dress type thing going on, but I liked her. I thought she was very good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Then we have Adam Faison as the forgettable Colin. Matt's
cop.
boyfriend, his
Oh, the
sister's
boyfriend.
boyfriend. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This guy had way too much screen time.
How he
He had to be there to be upset about everything.
right? He's
Yeah,
had to have somebody crying all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Why, God? Why?
I don't know about you guys, but I don't know any of these people.
No.
You guys don't know them either. Okay.
I think they
No.
were all from Serbia, weren't they? Isn't that what you
Yeah.
said? All right.
No, they flew to Serbia to make the movie. I think.
They got the tax deal in Serbia.
Yeah, I thought they were just all Serbians. They were like, hey, movie? Yeah? No?
They got invited to make the movie in Serbia and then found out it was a hostile situation.
Oh.
We make no movie here.
They made the Serbian movie. Now you can only go
Oh.
lower
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
Nah, we don't speak of that in mixed company.
Okay.
Drew Starkey as Trevor, the boyfriend, the boring boyfriend.
Okay.
All right, real quick. Did anybody here see the twist with the boyfriend coming?
No.
I did not. And I
Well,
should have, because they kind of
Oh.
make it
Yeah.
the
No,
fact that
it's-
he knew about the place and where to get this thing.
Well,
should've-
he facilitated the whole fucking thing.
Right, but I
Yeah.
didn't see the twist coming. Mike, did you see the twist coming?
I didn't know.
All right, cool.
I didn't. There were two twists. Well, I mean, for me, I don't want to get too far, but there was that twist and the twist when she realized that the sacrifices could also be Cenobites. Like that.
Right,
That was
right.
kind of a cool twist when that happened.
Mhm.
But yeah, so there were two twists in the movie. That's why you confused me. I wasn't sure what twist you were talking about.
Wow, Larry getting real technical.
So twisty.
Guys.
Yeah, I give him credit for that. I don't think many people saw that coming.
Mm-mm.
It's good. Well done.
We got anybody else? Any other
Oh,
cast?
that's right.
Yeah, there's more casts, and I don't know how to say this guy's name. Goran Viznik?
Yeah, that's Luca from ER.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was the
Eve
only guy that I
Roland Voigt.
recognized at all.
yeah. Eve put Goran Viznik, aka Roland, was an ER, and I think
Just
I
call
knew
him
his
Luca.
name.
Let's call him
Luca.
Luca. Yeah.
Does he live on the second floor?
My mother loved that. I'm like you know how like your mother sometimes has a crush on like a dude, like
Sam
You're like,
Elliott.
And you're like,
Luca. Luca was her guy. Like she loved. Like I would come home, she'd be watching fucking ER. She's like, "Shut up, Luca's on." Okay, ma, whatever.
I think guys of our general age range, every one of our mothers probably had something for Sam Elliott too. You know,
Not my
my,
mom.
my mom certainly did. Eric's mom is Dylan McDermott. Are you sure it's not Dermot Mulroney? Are you sure?
Okay.
They're one and the same. Hey, any of you guys watch The Boys?
I watched the first season only.
yeah, I watched first season.
Oh, I don't know if he was in the first season. Anyway, he was also in The Boys. He played the leader of I don't know if you'd call it a cult, but he took all the rejects from The Boys.
Wasn't
He's
the
in
first
that-
season.
He's in that as well.
Luca?
Yeah, Luca.
Oh.
Luca.
He actually
He's
did a
also
lot. I
in,
looked him up. I looked him
he's
up.
in
He's done a lot,
Rounders.
really.
He's in Rounders with Matt Damon, the poker movie.
Pay this man his money.
Yeah, he's one of the Russians playing poker.
Emmett Smith, not Sam Elliott.
That's a good one.
Emmett Smith.
Emmett
Jesus
Smith.
Christ. Most overrated running back in the history of the
Whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa.
you gotta. Well,
Whoa.
he's not
Oh,
right
he
now.
is.
Whoa.
No,
Oh,
he's
he
not.
is.
Her mom's not worried
Oh,
about
he's so
about him on the
totally
field.
He really is.
It's off
Most
the field.
overrated running back in the history of the
All right, who's the best? Napoleon Kaufman, you Raiders
No.
fan? All right.
I love Napoleon Kaufman, but no. No. We'll have this discussion privately.
Chris
I,
is,
lo-
yeah,
I
we will.
love Pierce Brosnan too, so I'm going with that.
Chris's mom loves Pierce Brosnan. I get that.
I understand.
Guy still
that.
looks good too. I just saw him do a like one of those rundowns of my career on like YouTube. They do like these quick
He has
like
sweet beard now.
yeah, he looks like it
Oh yeah.
looks great. Yeah, and he's playing Dr. Fate in the Black Adam movie that I'm not going to see, but he's playing Dr. Fate in that.
So I don't even know what Black Adam is.
Black
Like-
Adam is mostly an anti-hero. He is like the inverse of Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. He's a
Okay.
great character in the comics. He's certainly a great character in the comics, but
Yep. You think the Rock's gonna fuck it all up?
it's DC, so I'm pretty sure they're going to fuck it up somehow, no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. Good call.
It'll be way too dark than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
call. Way too long. Nothing happening.
Mhm.
All right.
Yes, Stu put it perfectly. Black Adam is the Venom to Shazam's Spidey. He is.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, but he's a great character. He's a really cool character.
Alright.
I will certainly watch it on video.
Gotcha.
Eve's mom loved Benjamin. Oh yeah, Benjamin Bratt's a good looking dude. Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
can't
good-looking
picture
dude.
him. Can't picture him.
he's either Latino or maybe a Native American. I'm trying to think of anything else he's
Latino
been in.
of some persuasion.
Yeah. All right, Master. Do we have anybody else in this cast that we want to talk about?
Yeah, let's go really quick. Hiam Abbas as Serena Maneker. Voight's lawyer.
yeah.
She's actually a big star in Europe.
I was going to say she's a huge European
They
actress.
threw her away here.
Little bit. Yep.
Yep.
Oifi Hines as Nora.
Yes.
Nora.
Big fan of Oifi.
Yeah.
Oifi.
And then I'll just say the names of these Cenobites. So you have the Chatterer, who is Jason Lyles. You have the Weeper, who is Yinka Olarunif.
That's my middle name.
Asphyx, that was the wheezing one. Zachary Hing. Gasp, Selena Lowe. The Mother, I'm not sure who the mother was. Was that the one with the thing going on?
There was a pregnant one at the end. She actually had a
there
bulge,
was. Yeah,
and there
yeah.
was like cut across her bulge.
Okay.
Gorika Regdovic was the mother. And then the mask, Vukasin Jovanovic.
The mask was fucking freaky as shit. Is that the one with like the layer of skin across the face?
Nothing behind it.
Yeah.
That was a good look.
It just randomly showed up towards the end.
They all well, it went from being maybe 3 throughout the whole movie to like all of a sudden when the house starts doing its thing, there's like 19 of these fucking things.
Yeah, I was like, where are these coming from?
Yeah.
Larry, just be happy there's not an asshole with a CD stuck in his head.
I was, and a camera coming out of it.
We're just an asshole.
Or a straight up butthole, right? Right there in the front.
There you go.
Oh wait, Benjamin Bratt is so. Hold on, was he one of the cops in Demolition Man?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Okay,
yes,
I know who he is now. Now I know who he is. All right.
The Asphyx is a reference to an old British horror movie. Okay, cool. All right, so as the movie opens up, we're in Belgrade, Serbia, and we have the Serena character, and we have a little old briefcase switcheroo with a gentleman sitting on a bench. She goes up to the gentleman. They say a couple things. Do you have the thing? He's here for the blah blah. Hands him his briefcase. He opens it up, and we see a bunch of American hundreds, so it's a money thing. And then under the bench, he has like this ornate like wooden box. Slides it out. She pops it open, and they don't fuck around. They get right to it. We see what we as people who have seen Hellraiser know is the lament configuration or the puzzle box. So she leaves. The next scene, it has to tell us we're in the Berkshires in Massachusetts, and we're at this like fancy party. We know it's a rich person's party because as this young guy character that we kind of follow walks through the place, he looks into a room and there's a girl riding a guy on a couch because rich people in movies always fuck in front of everybody. Every rich person party is just, it's just debauchery and fucking, and then some guy has a room filled with shit like the lament configuration.
Right. Yep. Yeah,
but it was like very clean looking.
There's a room full of people fucking, and then a room full of like Japanese armor from like the 11th century. Like,
yeah. And if you'd gone a little further, you would have found the Bat Cave. If you'd gone a little further, so he meets Serena, and at first I'm thinking this is gonna be what's her name from Hellraiser situation. Julia. I'm thinking it's a Julia situation because she's giving him like old lady fuck me eyes. And he's obviously, it says in promotional material he's a sex worker. I didn't get that from this, but
not at all.
Yeah, they don't tell you that. But like, so you think, so she tells him go down to the end of the hall, right? And there's a room with double doors. Mike, what is in the room that he ends up going down to?
Well, in the center of the room is a version of the cube already in a configuration, and then we pan around the room and we see all kinds of other artifacts, kind of cribbed from Dr. Chenard's study in part 2, with the idea of that this guy has been studying these things for years and years and years. And it's strange that a dude who's at a party, super rich guy, he just goes right in, and there's a thing on a pedestal, and he's like, bang.
Yeah.
Are you touching that right off the bat?
Yeah, no.
I mean,
I'm not touching it at all. I've seen
it nowhere near it.
Well, yeah,
but even if you didn't see the movie,
you'd kind of look around and be like, you wouldn't just pick that sucker up.
No.
And be like,
I wouldn't have even gone down the hall when that lady told me to.
Yeah, no.
You would be like, hey, everybody's fucking in this room over here. I'm going back here.
I'm going to go in the fuck room. No.
He's like, wait a minute. In that room in there, it was like a pretty hot young girl fucking that guy. Are you inviting me down there? Because I'm looking at you and I'm not thinking that's right what I want to do right now. I think part of the whole idea with that was when he walks out of the room, the puzzle box is the only thing not covered by a case. So it's almost like, I could touch this. Well, he touches it.
Yeah.
And of course, I think what Eric and or Patrick both said it earlier. This is like Fisher Price's configuration because you just got to touch it. You don't really have to put any effort into it. This is not a Rubik's
Just
cube.
in one of those
They're like
little things.
in Hellbound, they needed what was her name to fuck because she was like the puzzle master.
Right.
Right. And this one, all you gotta do is walk close to it and
Yeah.
it just starts fucking turning around.
You fart too loud in front of this thing and it starts to spin and then something else shoots around. Well, he gets it and he starts fucking around with it and it gets to like this next configuration. But then what? The blade pops out, right? Which is this keeps fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
The blade pops out and catches him in the hand. Now, meanwhile, the Luca has come out and is basically giving him every bad guy speech ever about, wanting to attain everything and blah, 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 blah. And as he gets cut, he pretty much tells him, I just got what I wanted.
Mhm.
And from down
And
the
he goes,
hall,
do I get a prize? No, I do.
I do. Lloyd, what blasts out from down the hall and fucks this kid's day up?
Yeah, a bunch of chains just shoot right out of the walls, out of nowhere, hook him up. It was a pretty good little gore scene in the leg. Pulls him across, and then he's just spread out like that, chains all across. He's just screaming.
I like that scene because it showed it
was
from
pretty good.
it showed him go up, but then you're concentrating on Luca in the front,
Yeah,
and
he's
in
just
the back,
background.
you see him in the back, and he's doing the fucking he's getting ready to get ripped apart.
Yeah, that was a smart shot. So either Hellraiser and you know what's happening to him, or for everybody else, it's like, whoa, what is happening? I can't wait to see more. This is a great shot.
Yeah.
So he gets blasted, right? This thing rips him totally apart.
They don't show that though.
They don't show it, do they?
No,
Okay, I couldn't
No,
remember.
you don't get the Jesus wept scene.
We don't. Yeah, I was
No.
waiting for this like young kid to say Jesus
for
wept
that.
and go. That wouldn't have worked, but
Yeah.
so
They did have one or two little homages to the original.
Sure, yeah, they did.
Oh yeah,
Mostly in the priest's lines.
Yeah.
The priest
So-
had some headlines.
So the movie jumps ahead now. It says 6 years later. So we're 6 years later, and then we immediately pan into our who's going to be our heroine or final girl of the movie getting the fucked out of her, like just
Yeah, she's getting railed.
railed.
Yeah.
She's getting railed. And you think what you hear you think is the screaming of the guy, but then
Right.
it turns into the screaming of her getting
Right.
Yeah.
So he's
And it doesn't say 6 years later until after that fucking scene,
Oh, was it?
which is a little confusing to me because they're like,
Maybe they've been fucking for 6 years.
yeah,
Is that what
that's
you were
what
thinking?
it seemed
Well,
like 6 years
I think-
later. They come out of the bedroom 6 years later.
I think to your point, and I'll get into this later, but from earlier, you say like any monkey can open that box, and then here we go 6 years later to this girl. It doesn't make any sense why.
Right.
But
Right.
Yeah,
So
well, there's a lot that doesn't make sense, and we'll talk about all of it. I guess.
so he's
she's
giving
getting
it to her. He spins her over. He's doing it from behind, and
Yeah.
then Larry
You
he
like
makes
this speed?
he makes the classic. He makes the very classic guy mistake. What does he say to her?
I don't remember. What does he say?
He says, "I love
He
you,"
says I love you.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
and her vagina closes like a
Right up.
goddamn like a
Yeah.
door, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, well, that's weird."
Yeah.
And then my other favorite part in that scene is she comes out of the room and walks one room away into this very small apartment where her brother
Everybody is. Yeah.
everybody is.
Yeah.
Her brother, his boyfriend, and the roommate are all there, and they're kind of having this like little moment. And then she says at the end, she goes, "You heard me. You heard us fucking, didn't you?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck did they not?
Right.
They could have heard
The
you in that
building
guy's
next to you.
mansion.
The building
Right.
next to you heard you.
They would have heard you in the mansion of the beginning, fucking like that, and you were one room away.
Yeah. All
So
of
we-
Serbia.
So we introduce these characters out. So essentially, as we said before, we've got her. She seems to be an addict of some sort who has been clean for a while. Her boyfriend, who the friends don't like because he apparently picked her. Do they ever say that he's an addict too, or that he picked her up?
No, I think I got the feeling they met in treatment.
Yeah, 12-step,
which
yeah.
which you're not supposed to do. Like if you're in treatment, first of all, you're not supposed to date at all, really, and you're definitely not supposed to date another addict.
Okay. I know, I figured that was what it was, but I wasn't sure if they were saying, like, he picked her up out of treatment or they were
Yeah.
together.
You're in treatment. You're supposed to be focusing on yourself and your healing, not also trying to keep a relationship. And like I said, especially not with one also in treatment.
Right. Now, Manster, as you said before, even though you didn't agree with it, we learned that Tom Gady, the brother, and her have a strained relationship because he has just been, he's been dealing with her shit for a long time, and now she's living on his couch, while he's just trying to have his relationship and everything.
Yeah.
So, where does the box come into play, Manster? How do we get to the box from this point?
How do we get to the box? I don't remember.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's trying to figure out money or a job,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
and scumbag boyfriend is like, oh yeah, I got a scam. I know where there's I used to work for a guy or something that has some fucking buried treasure. I don't think he ever really said what it was, but
He
has
just said it's something that's worth a lot of
something
money.
that's
Yeah,
worth a
some
lot of money.
billionaire stuff. That's
Right.
it.
You help me get to it, and we'll fucking sell it and split it.
Yeah, no one will miss it.
Which
Yeah.
is
Weird plan.
That was
so
weird.
for me, I was like,
Yeah.
that is the most roundabout, insane way
Yeah,
to give. Like, you could have just handed that chick the box, be like, hey, can you like fuck with this? But
Yeah.
to say that you're gonna drive out to a weird place and go under the door and break a fucking safe open and
So-
then you're gonna get it.
so. Do
Yeah,
you think?
I love that she's
Yeah.
a safe cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it, a fucking 007 movie?
So do you think that was poor? Do you think that was poor writing in the screenplay by the screenwriters? Essentially, so and it's fine to spoil it because everybody here has seen this. When you get to the end of the movie, you find out that the boyfriend is a turd bag who's working for the guy with the fucking accordion through him, and
That's what I called it too. I was like, oh, look at this. This guy's got an accordion in his chest.
a golden accordion.
It's like Weird Al Yankovic tried to stab him.
My Bologna. So he's working for this guy, and the whole idea is that, as we saw earlier, is that I guess the idea is somebody has to kind of lead you to it, right? And he gets him because he knows she's weak in her state and everything. Do you think that was just kind of poor writing in terms of that was just meant for us? Because you're right, he could have given her the box in a much easier way. It seems like that was plot padding so that we wouldn't see that the boyfriend was a shitbag. Like, it doesn't seem like that he could have just said, "Oh, look what I found today," and given it to her, but we wouldn't have had another 20 minutes of story.
It doesn't make any sense, period. So like in the first one, because of an accident, Frank comes back in the same house that Larry and his wife are. But that's an accident. Here, the only reason you need people is because he needs people to die to get into that final configuration, because he wants to talk back to the Leviathan god. But first of all, I don't know why you're waiting 6 years with an accordion in your chest. That would
Right.
piss me off like within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially what
But-
that thing does.
Yeah,
Like every time you're like, okay, all right, it's cool. It turns back on again. You're
That's
like,
good
oh,
torture. That's good torture. I like that torture. That's good torture.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
But why you had the plan already? You can get any moron off the street drunk and just let him die. Then the configuration goes one more forward. You do not need to hire somebody to go find some other weirdo to go
Yeah.
then break into your whatever container to. Hopefully she can, like Larry said, hopefully she can break open a safe,
Right.
and then she can have the box. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seemed a long way to go. For
It
that.
did.
Yeah.
So they break into a shipping container. There's a safe in the middle of it, nothing else. These two safe crackers, these two safe crackers
Fucking
get
the Pink Panther.
the Pink Panther, the Muppets from Great Muppet Caper. They fucking the baseball diamond. They break the safe open. They get in the middle, and we find the same box that Serena got in Serbia 6 years ago, sitting there.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, open it up. They open it up, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? It's right there. Show us, Mike. It's the Hellraiser box, the one we all know.
The original.
And he essentially says, "Well, look, I can't do anything with this, but why don't you take it
Yeah.
and research it? Go on eBay, go on fucking Etsy, go anywhere you can, find out how much this thing's worth, and then I'll split it with you. So she takes it, and there's the handoff there. And then we get basically kind of to get through this whole section of the movie a little bit here is just a lot of more strife between her and her brother and she's playing with the box a lot, right? She finds out that it could do different things. You twist the nipples on it. It's like a bop it for
It's
adults.
a fidget box.
Yeah,
Fidget
bop
box.
it, twist it, fuck it.
Oh,
So she's playing around with it, and at one point it just suddenly turns into another configuration, right? So she's like, holy fuck. And there's different points in this thing where this thing just starts changing by itself. So she kind of becomes kind of obsessed with it. Her brother gets tired of her shit and kicks her out. Did I miss the part where she drugged before getting home? No, you didn't miss it. It's coming up. She leaves the brother's house after an argument. She's about to go sleep in her car, but then she does what anybody would do, and she goes and sleeps on a merry-go-round, right?
Yeah.
In a public park.
I think he's referring to the fact that when she gets home from the robbery, she's drunk. But I think that's supposed to be because they were hitting the boyfriend's flask.
Right. Okay, you're right. I forgot about that. And that's what made the brother pissed off.
Yeah.
Tom Gady. Tom's like, get the fuck out of here. And this is the point Larry said that Lloyd doesn't understand. It's called tough love, Lloyd. We'll talk about it after the show. Where he basically says, get your fucking stinky whore, drug addict ass out the fuck out of my house and go. Now, when he says that, the boyfriend, who's more sympathetic, is like, we'll work this out. But she's like, fuck it, I'm going. She goes to the car, gets her pillow, goes to sleep on the merry-go-round. But she's fucking with the thing more. Right? She's fucking with the thing more. And as she's fucking with the thing more, she sticks. There's fucking this. This is the first time I ever.
Always gotta stick your finger in that hole.
She fucking sticks her finger
right
into that fucking little, right into that little poop hole on the lament configuration. And does it cut her at that point, or does it open up again? I can't
never
remember.
cuts her.
It just opens.
That's her gift. She can do all this thing, and the knife always misses her.
Yeah. It surprises her because it does pop open a bit.
Right, it pops open, changes, and then as she takes the pills, right? She ends up taking 3 pills that she had on her in a locket. I think that's an addict right there when you keep them in a locket, right? Like most of us have pictures of our moms or Pierce Brosnan in a locket.
I don't think most of us have a locket.
Oh no, me and Lloyd have the ones that when you put them together, the hearts,
we have a
You guys have
judgment.
the heart.
it's broke down the
And then
middle.
it opens up, and you get pills.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great.
Wonder Twins.
Castellar Garcia says, I always wondered about the hobo character from part 1 and the end of part 2 that says, so what's your pleasure, sir?
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
Yeah, we didn't see that character here, but as she's spinning around on that merry-go-round, she suddenly sees one of the Cenobites, right? She sees, it looks like maybe the priest, the hell priest,
Yeah.
but she doesn't really realize what's going on. So her brother comes, right? Is this where her brother comes to help her out?
Yeah, eventually.
Yes.
Yeah.
He shows up to help her out, and he's like, I'm going to bring you home. Look, I made a mistake. I got mad. I was acting like a Larry. I should have acted like a Lloyd, is what he's saying. I should have welcomed you into the house. Do your drugs here. Fuck all the guys you want here. But as he goes to pick up the configuration, the blade sticking out cuts him right in his fucking hand. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. It could have been my TV. Did the blood look weird in this movie? Like, I don't know if maybe it's just the colors on my TV. It looked very kind of purpley crimsony. Maybe my TV is going.
I think your
Anyways,
TV's going.
Mine looked all
might
right.
be
Yeah,
going.
looked
Mine
fine.
didn't
I thought
look
it was
great.
pretty good blood effects, actually.
Yeah. I think
So
a lot of the film was dark, but
It was dark.
yeah,
It was
but
dark.
I thought the blood looked okay.
But before the brother comes, the Cenobite says to her that you have to give us another. Like, you owe us. That
Right.
The blade didn't get you, so now you have to give us another.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the brother. Brother cuts himself, and then Officer Mike, he goes into like a rest stop type restroom in the parking lot. And what happens in there?
I gotta go rinse off.
Candyman wasn't the Candyman come at that point?
No, well, the wall opens, which is going back to the original Hellraiser, and he, unfortunately for him, he's a moron, and he goes into that. So note for everybody: if the wall opens into like a
Don't
gaping dark
Yeah.
place, you probably should
Right.
go the other
Yeah.
way.
And also, if a big black guy in a trench coat comes in and says, "I heard you're looking for Candyman, bitch,"
Go the other way.
Yeah, just get out of there.
Hey, why don't you hold your urine and get the fuck out of
Yeah,
there?
just get out.
Yeah. It was.
I was
I don't
hoping
know.
for that fucking big monster to come crawling down the hall.
Oh, that-
Oh, yeah, the terrible one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fucking that Fraggle from Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Did you guys now in this movie, as comparatively to the 87 Hellraiser, in Hellraiser the original, when the Cenobites would show up, it would just be like this really ragged crack in a wall that would open up, and they would come from like the spaces in between. In this movie, every time we would get that, it was almost like they were making the room out to be a puzzle itself, where things would start to open up and like kind of move down. Did you like that effect, Larry, where it just seemed a little bit cleaner, I guess?
No, I didn't. One thing I did, and we'll talk about whether we liked it or didn't like it as we get to the end. But there's one thing I didn't like was how the Cenobites were presented. Right, I liked in the
totally
original.
agree.
I liked in the original movies how very blue backlit, a lot of shadows, very smoky, like another dimension. Right,
Right.
like these guys are coming from another dimension. You get that feeling in the original. And this one, they're just like in the grass, like, hey, like behind a bush, like behind a hedge, like, hey. And I'm like, it kind of takes away from it when they're just like hanging out in the playground.
what-
Right.
The way that I would say what Larry's saying is this is very neutered.
Yeah.
The
I
Cenobites,
think it
the
goes with their
otherworldly
look.
dimension of it,
They
the
look
sexual
great.
perversion, everything about it is just neutered and watered down.
Oh well, we'll talk about that too. I mean, the whole, and maybe Officer Simonetta will agree with me. The whole point of Hellraiser is sadomasochism,
Right.
sexuality, and that is completely missing from this
Just
film.
totally glossed over.
Well,
100%
just
missing.
like the
other than the
costumes
fuck
are
room
glossed
in
over.
Luca's fucking house, and
Fuck dungeon.
and the
She-
fuck dungeon, and the
Yes.
dude
Yeah.
railing the girl at the beginning. This is completely devoid of sexuality, which is
Which I
all.
thought from the dude getting, we open on the chick getting railed. I thought
Yeah,
it was going to be
I
something
was
like
like-
that.
Which is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what fucking these stories are about. So to take it that far, I know this is a new story, but I mean that's what the Cenobites are about, man. Like, and even like you were talking about the clothes, John. Like, like it was all like bondage material, like they were wearing. It's like very sexual, the original Cenobites.
Right.
And now it's just like scary,
was-
flayed, pierced people in the park.
It was like
Hey.
slick costumes. It wasn't like really, flayed skin and mutilations.
Well, the flayed
It
skin
just
was
felt like
there. It wasn't
costumes
as
to me.
obvious.
It wasn't an obvious.
Well,
right.
let's talk about this for a quick second while we're talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Is the original Hellraiser, the box is a part of the story, but it's not what the story rides on. The story
This is the box.
this movie
Yeah.
is all about the all
Which
about
I
the box.
actually enjoy that. I thought I thought that was kind of cool. Like you learned more about, I mean, not really about the configuration as it's supposed to be, but whatever this new movie's version of it is. And I thought it was pretty interesting in that, it takes a sacrifice to get to the next configuration. I thought that was all pretty interesting, different and interesting. I did think that was pretty cool. I thought it took a real long fucking time to get in between each. This thing was fucking long.
All right, so before we started recording,
That's what we said.
Manster told me his opinion of the film, which we'll save till the end. But before you got on, Larry, we were talking, and I'm going to ask all three of you, including myself.
You're gonna ask yourself?
Well, I'm going to say my opinion, then ask the three of you.
Self.
Okay.
I felt like this movie was too long. I felt like there's a good 20 minutes throughout the whole course of it that we could have cut down. Larry,
More
do
than
you
that.
agree that you could have cut more?
I think they could have cut more. I think you could have cut more and added different stuff. Like,
Right.
I felt
They
felt
could
it
have-
was definitely too long. Parts carried out for no reason, real slow. The good parts were good, but I thought they were too few and far between.
All right. Well, Holly says she didn't care for Pearlhead and the Lady Bites. Eve
Yeah,
said it
I didn't
keep
notice
her
that till
attention.
later that they weren't nails. I was like, hold on, those are like those
Yeah.
old school pins. Like, I
But,
don't
but
even
you know
know
what
what
was
they're called.
cool is when they were far away, though, they glowed. So
Yeah,
when,
they
when
did.
she was walking around, like they kind of glowed in the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That was a nice effect.
Manster, did you think the movie was too long?
It was absolutely too long. Could have been an hour and a half. Could even been a little less than that.
And I don't know if we mentioned it. I know most people here watched it. It's 2 hours long, just so you don't think it's like 2.5. All right, Mike, did you think the movie was too long?
Yeah, and I go with Larry. You know, it's also like you could have edited / made a better movie, but
Mm.
yes, especially because there isn't a true drive to
Yeah.
get there. Um, I don't know why we have to skip 6 years ahead, as all.
I think
I
I
also
think
don't know why
It could have
you
been
have
the
to
next
wait.
day, right?
I think the 6 years ahead is only for when we finally meet Roland or Luca to show how long he's been suffering for.
I
Because
don't think I needed 6 years. If I'm
Yeah,
Yeah.
suffering for 6 minutes with that, I'm going to kill everybody.
yeah.
right,
I mean,
I'm gonna
if you're literally winding my
Ah,
nerves
shit.
through
yeah,
that, I'm going to be like, I'm getting out of this
yeah,
now.
absolutely. I'll kill everybody.
Hmm.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody
so
touch this fucking box right
somebody
now.
shoved a sideways golden typewriter in your gut. It
Yeah.
ain't gonna
But
last 6 years.
yeah, I don't think 2 hours is too long of a movie in general, but it's
No.
there's too much padding here
Yeah,
because it's so simplistic. There's just way too much padding. You know,
Stu.
No, I
again,
don't
to
want the
go with that,
Schneider cut. I don't want the Snyder cut.
5
Yeah.
hours.
Stu had said it on his letterbox review that I read after I watched the movie yesterday. But he's absolutely right. The middle of the movie is like, where are we going with this? Because you get the beginning and all the setup, and
Yeah.
then the end when you get to the house is another thing. But there's kind of that middle bit where they go to the hospital and meet
Oh
Serena,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's just to give us a scene where we get to see, essentially the Hell Priest and
Right.
all of these Cenobites do their thing for the first real time. Did you guys think? Now we're going to talk about it as we go along, but did you like the gore and or the Cenobite scenes in this, Larry? Did you think that like what we got when we did get
Yeah,
like the flaying of that one girl in the van? The van scene I liked a lot.
yeah.
I
I
liked
liked. No, I liked all. I like I said, I liked the Cenobites. I liked their makeup. I liked they. Again, to me, it was they were completely different than the original Cenobites based on sadomasochism, but I liked the way they looked. I thought they looked super fucking cool. I didn't like a lot of the scenes they were put in. Like I said, I didn't like seeing them just hanging out in the park. But the kill scenes were good. The gore was good. Yeah, this had some good stuff, and the Cenobites were definitely one of the good parts of the movie, one of the highlights of the movie.
Stu probably rated this higher than the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
100%.
Very possible. Very
Yes.
possible. He did not like that movie.
No.
All right, so let's get into kind of the back half of the movie. We've kind of seen all this stuff, and eventually, how does she find out, Mike? Do you remember that about the house and about Lucas? She starts reading into things, right?
Well, she forces her boyfriend, which is stupid if the boyfriend really is trying to hide this, but she forces her boyfriend to find out who owned the hidden cargo container,
Right.
and then he coughs up a name, and then somehow, well, I mean, we all know you can find out if you own a house if you know somebody's name, but she finds out
Yeah.
he owns a house in the Berkshires,
Yeah.
and they drive from
Serbia.
Serbia, downtown Serbia, to the Berkshires, and go check it out.
They go to the house, check it out, Manster. Do you remember? She sees the picture
Well,
of the house, and it's this giant mansion. What does it look like
but
now?
it's
What's
covered
going on?
with what looks like the tightest scaffolding you'll ever see, and I still don't understand how it keeps the Cenobites out. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
He built a cage.
he built a cage.
I
but,
built a
I mean,
cage.
fuck, they can get you when you're driving in a van. They can get in that fucking house.
No, they can't. I don't know.
There's
Because
tinfoil on
because
it.
the movie said so.
Right.
Yeah.
fucking Lloyd.
And she goes in. She crawls in through a window or something. She gets in there. It's all dirty and dusty, and she finds some stuff. She sees her brother hanging out.
Yeah, he's just chilling out, all fucked
Yeah.
up.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in all of her research, she discovers a lot about the box, and I had Officer Mike write it down for us because
Yeah.
this is the first time that the box actually has like different things that it can do or give you based on the configuration. So, Officer Mike, what are the 7 configurations of the box, and what do they equate to?
I think it's 6.
So the 6 is then first one's the normal one, the lament configuration, which would equal life if you take it from the Cenobites at the end. The second one is a compressed box, which you looked at the top was kind of an octagon, but was kind of just a squished lament configuration, bowed out on the sides. That is lore or knowledge. And this is all taken from that book. It was nice of
The
Voight to read.
handwritten book.
He left out his instruction booklet.
Yeah.
The third one is like a pseudo star shape, and that's called the launderant or love. The fourth one is the rectangle. It's a very tight rectangle, and it's a liminal or sensation. Then there's the first thing we saw, the larger
Right.
stretched out rectangle with sides angled out. That's called the Lazarus or the resurrection. And then the last one, which is taken right from the second movie, is a long diamond shape, and that's
Right.
Leviathan, which here equals resurrection, which doesn't make sense because Leviathan's a monster. But they had
No,
to
here
stick
equals
with
power.
but here they had to stick with the fact that they called it Leviathan in the second movie. So
Right.
keep going. This whole movie, like one of the big things I felt about it is somebody did bullet points of everything from the first and second movie, and they were like, somewhere along the line, we got to hit
gotta slip
all
this shit
these
in,
bullet
yeah.
points. And like, does it always make sense? No, but I get, you used it. We'll go from there.
I liked at the end when the priest was giving her choices, and I was just like, "What is this? A spelling bee? She's just saying a bunch of words I don't know. Like I don't know any of these fucking words."
Yeah.
If that was me, I'd have been like, "I don't know what you're saying. Can you please explain this?
I just want things.
Do you have money? Is money in there? Can you give me money?
Is there
please?
candy?
Yeah.
Got any Reese's in there?
You got any
The-
Cadbury flake in that fucking box?"
The seventh reward is Lickworthy, which is ice cream for a year. Free ice cream for 1 year. And any,
One configuration's
participating
got a scoop of
31
peanuts.
flavors.
Yeah. I'll kill 5 people for that.
So she-
I think that's just an extension, though. I think too many people got locked into the idea of the cube just equals pleasure from the first one,
Right.
And this is more. Plus, of course, there'll be inevitable sequels, and somebody will pick something
yeah.
else. So
Yeah. So she goes to the house, though, because in her head, after she does all this research, she's going to use the resurrection configuration
Resurrection Stone.
to
Oh,
bring
that's Harry Potter. That's
Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone, to bring her brother back, right? Back from the, and they never when these people are killed by the box, they don't die; they just disappear, right? Like we never see a body. They are dead, but we never see it. So her brother just kind of disappears.
they're in hell, but
Right?
whatever.
They're stuck down south.
Yeah.
So as she gets there, all of a sudden, who shows up but her brother? Not her brother. Her brother's boyfriend.
Yeah.
The
Oddly
other roommate
just
girl,
show up.
Colin and Nora. Trevor.
Colin and Nora. They all just
Great
show up.
names.
They didn't
they're
they didn't like her, right? But they're just
No,
like,
but they showed up. Yeah.
yeah. They
Well,
showed up.
Colin liked her,
Did he?
and I think Nora put up with her. Nora liked her when she wasn't like fucking at like 20,000 decibels in
Well,
the house.
Nora is the character that's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like if I'm just a roommate, be like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't want to listen to your sister fuck, and what, you guys are gonna go to a creepy mansion? I'm gonna watch.
And you
TV.
want to talk about a character that brings no depth to the story at all.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who?
She's
the
literally first
fuck,
victim.
What are you? What are you?
First
here?
victim.
Yeah.
She's the body count to move the cube along.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true too. Because to get to where we have to get to,
You gotta
there
kill
have to be
certain
so many people to die.
Yeah.
Right.
So Nora is with the boyfriend, and they're checking out this mansion, and they find all these like kind of fuse boxes and switches, and she finds a secret passageway.
Mm.
Well, that's
Which,
right.
by the way, you're not going down that fucking hallway by yourself.
I'm
You're
not
not
going
going.
in the house, Sean.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to find them in the first place.
Yeah,
My bro's gone.
Yeah.
he's dead. What happened to your brother? Hellraiser, gotta go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gotta go.
Cenobites.
Cenobites, Hellraiser. It was my fault, but I honestly, I'm not going to check on him because it's never good.
Nope.
Yeah, I think Patrick's right here. They're all bound together by friendship, which screenplay insisted existed but failed to ever demonstrate. Yeah, you're right.
Honestly, it's become in a lot of movies. It's just become really common that the movie expects you to care about characters without giving you anything on the characters.
Right.
I don't give a fuck if somebody dies if I have no idea, if I have no vested interest in that character.
Mhm.
And movie people are, and honestly, it's because people just want to sit there and see killing So these fucking people who make movies are just like, fuck it, we'll just put in a bunch of people to kill, and they don't build any story anymore because nobody has the fucking time to sit through story anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
getting
that's
old. Man.
that's
Get
a,
off my
Everyone's got
damn
their
lawn!
2-second
yeah, that's
attention span.
we need an explosion or a death every 5-minute rule.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you
Right.
time to,
Yeah.
But I mean, think about that though, Larry. Think about the old movies of hey, the first 20 minutes to half hour is just dialogue. People would
Right.
be like,
People,
"Wow."
oh my god, what's happening? It's the most boring movie I've ever seen. Ugh, fuck off.
So she goes down this hallway, and as she's going down, the door shuts behind her, and she's having this shouting thing with Trevor, the boyfriend. Hey, get it open, blah blah blah. And this is the first time we kind of like, as she's in the tunnel, we get a view of
Right.
the Roland character, and it's like weirdly lit, so you can't really see him, but you're vaguely kind of like, does that guy have a typewriter shoved through his fucking chest?
Yeah.
Like, is he? I was thinking at first like he was a Clockwork Man or something. I'm like, is this going to be
Yeah,
Cenobite robot?
I wasn't sure what was happening.
Yeah.
But he somehow, right, he got a hold of the box because he stabs her in the back with the box, so she's the next victim to move things along.
Right.
And they end up getting her out of that room, and he disappears. But now she's bleeding to death, so they got to get her out of there. So they all pile in the
Bleeding to
van.
death from a tiny blade.
From a little blade.
The
Yeah,
blade's
but
like
right in the
this big.
center of the back, right? I mean, that
I don't
deep.
give a. It's the blade's like an inch and a half long.
I'd say it was like 2, maybe. I'd say
Oh.
2, 2.5.
You're showing like 6 inches.
Yeah.
I'd say
it was like an inch.
I would say it was probably about 3/4 of an inch long. So,
honey, it's 2 inches long.
honey, 3/4 of an inch.
Look at it.
So they get in the van. They all get in the van and they start driving. Manster, as they're driving and trying to leave this place, what starts happening to the ground? This
Shit
confused the
starts
shit out of me.
happening. Like the way the walls move out normally when you're in a building, the road starts like forming like stairwells into the ground and whatnot, and they can't get past those things.
Right. At one point, I think one of the Cenobites comes out of one of those stairwells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Cool
fucking
scene.
like
Pretty cool
scene. The Chatterer, I think it was. He's
But then you see the view from Nora's perspective inside the van, and the back end of the doors, the back doors of the van start receding. So that was pretty cool effect.
That was
that
fun.
was awesome.
Yeah, it was
when,
fun.
when she was watching them in the in the passenger compartment, but it was like looked like it was going down a hallway,
Yeah.
and then she ends up running afoul in the van of the lead Cenobite, the Hell Priest, and she's the one that's praying, right? Is she praying?
Yeah,
And
she
that's
was the
what-
one who was praying. What are you
and-
praying for?
What are you praying for? Who are you praying to?
Right.
I like that. I thought the woman who plays the new Pinhead did a very good job.
Yeah, she was good.
Very cool demeanor, very very alien. She even is this the first time Pinhead has ever taken a pin out of their head?
That was part 3. He did
Was that part 3? Okay, because he takes it out, and then there's a cool scene. I think Patrick said he didn't like it. I actually liked it. Where save your breath for screaming. That was a great line.
Yeah, that was a
Where
great line.
she puts a pin through her throat.
Yeah.
And we get a shot from inside, and we see the uvulus dominus and the upper dorsimus, and you see the nail go through the
Gluteus
other side,
maximus.
the gluteus maximus. You see the nail go all the way through, and essentially she's giving her a lesson as to how, just the slightest little movement, brings a whole nother level of fucking pain on.
And I really like that configuration, her chain configuration, because she was pulled in opposite directions. Like her belly was going one way, and her
She was bent
head and her
backwards.
feet were going the opposite way.
Yeah.
And then she flays her. She fucking we don't see it. It's really quick, but Jeff, that is actually my high school nickname. You could ask any.
Totally different reasons.
You could ask
Not
any
the
of the
basketball.
guys outside of the VOAG lot in Middletown High School why they
Right.
called me that. I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, it rips her skin apart and everything, and they lose control of the van. The van goes down a little bit of an abutment. They come out and they don't find her, but they see blood everywhere. So they just start walking. Now they're just aimlessly walking. At this point, Mike, who do they start to run afoul of all around this around this building?
Well, then to Larry's point, the Cenobites are just kind of hanging out
In the
in the
grass.
woods, in the woods,
Yeah.
in the grass, in a bush.
You guys,
Hey.
you guys
Kinda-
want to,
just
you
kinda
guys want to
watching.
smoke some weed? You guys want to smoke some weed?
You know what's funny too?
It's like a
is
commercial,
Larry,
you know, they're-
Larry
you know,
has a
they're
great
ahead.
point. Like it is scary to come across them, but then when you look at a wide shot, it's like, well, why is she standing in the bush?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, think
why is
about
it-
it. Like, you know, in the
A
first
Cenobite in the bush is worth two in the hand.
in the
Oh,
oh yes, it is. In the first two movies, you know, you'd get that noise first, right? Boom.
it's a
Yeah.
funeral, a
It's
funeral
sound.
gong,
Right, and then they're all, and that's fucking creepy, man. Like, you know,
which is
no matter
dumb
what room
because-
you are, becomes that fucking
Yeah.
level of hell or wherever they are. Like, and now they're just fucking hanging out in the middle of the street, just like,
And it was dumb they didn't have it because that chick says, "I hear bells."
yeah,
When he's dying,
Right.
but they don't even play it. It's like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
well,
Kind of a throwback to the first movie as well. I don't know if it was Nora who just died or if it was Serena, but one of them sees that like spinning
Oh,
totem.
that was Serena.
She
Yeah.
sees that spinning
Yeah, Serena
totem that
sees it in
Frank
the
was all
hospital.
fucking
Right.
Yeah.
splooged out on. Yeah.
The meat wheel thing.
Meat wheel.
love a
Yeah.
meat wheel. Love a
Meat wheel. A good meat wheel, a charcuterie meat wheel
Yeah,
with just the right cheeses and a nice
right
wine.
Yeah.
What a Sunday. We're going to go to the Home Depot.
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good
I don't
time.
know if there's gonna be time. I don't know if we'll have time.
So now they're suddenly getting kind of surrounded by the Cenobites, and they know we got to go back inside, right? We got to get back inside. So the three of them get back inside again.
Jesus whipped.
Jesus wept. And Larry, what happens when they get back inside? Is this when the Cenobites start coming through and they shut the gates?
Yeah, I think
Well-
this is when she realizes that the gates can shut, right? I think so.
Yeah, I think
You
Mike,
skipped
right?
over the whole portion where the
It's
hell
okay.
priest
It's okay.
tells what's her face there, Riley, that she has to choose two other people to die instead of her.
My
Is that a-
apologies.
Is that
Right.
already? That happened
Yeah,
already?
that
Yeah.
already happened before.
Okay.
Yeah. She
Okay.
says you got to give us two more. Right?
Yeah.
And if you give us two more, then, then you can play in the showcase showdown.
Right.
Um,
Then you get the
Yeah.
Cenobite at the gate.
Yeah. So she's now trying to figure out, like, you're starting to think, is Riley going to murder, like, Colin
Yeah.
or,
Oh, yeah.
her boyfriend's, at this point, you're like, no way
Totally
she's going to murder
should.
the boyfriend because he's
Don't
so
know why she
fucking
wouldn't.
cool. Right? He's been good to her the whole time. He's helped her out.
He said the L word.
He said the L word. Let's be honest, he railed the fuck out of her, so she doesn't want to get rid of him for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. Now, at this point, is this the point where she figures out one of the sacrifices can be a Cenobite?
Yeah, she stabs
yeah.
one of them. So her and her boyfriend get trapped behind like a gate. Chatterer's got him trapped, and he's like trying to push Chatterer off, and takes a fucking huge bite out of his arm.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah, that
bicep
was
bite.
nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's got the box, and she just like pushes it at the Cenobite and cuts him with it. And I think that was like a really, really cool scene because the Cenobite Chatterer stepped back and seemed to accept it very well. Was
Yeah.
kind of like,
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah, it was just like almost thankfully. And then the chains came out and fucking ripped him apart. And I was like, holy shit, you can kill a Cenobite. Like that was a pretty cool scene. I thought that was pretty cool. Well done.
I like that whole scene too because, like you said, as that's happening, they're stuck behind a gate. Right, the gate is pushed up against another wall, so
Yeah.
like the Chatterer's coming at them. I think bites them through the gate. So it's like the scene where they're like right up against each other. So they get inside, and the boyfriend's bleeding out pretty badly on the couch. And Colin says, "Hey, look, we gotta fucking give me your belt." Like they make a tourniquet. But then as they go into the other rooms to try to figure out what they're gonna do, all of a sudden, Trevor's laying there like fucking chilling. And Mike, who shows up and just starts talking to Trevor like they're best friends?
Oh yeah.
Voight. He comes out of the
Luca.
wall.
Please call him Luca. Just
All
call
right,
him
Luca. Luca
Thank you.
Voight comes out of the wall. Well, no. So first she drops
That's right.
the box.
Yeah.
Tells the brother's boyfriend, like, pick it up. It's not anywhere. He's looking around. We see some dirty floor for no reason. I can't find it. And then we realize that Voight is back hanging out in the shadows.
He comes out, and how do they know each other, Mike?
Oh, because he's paying. He's paying the boyfriend to set. Again, I don't know why he's specifically setting up that girl, but to go find sacrifices to move.
And if
the
he's
box
been hanging
along.
out in his house with a typewriter in his chest for 6 years, how the
Right.
fuck did he meet this kid?
Yeah.
Right,
He's
did he
got
just
I mean, he's got
did he
money.
put like
He
an
can-
ad in Craigslist? Like,
Yeah,
He
you don't have to meet
Yeah,
people. It's
hook people
Zoom.
up.
Right? Zoom.
Yeah,
You know?
got it.
yeah, right here. Just every once in a while, he's
his Zoom is just his head.
That's all you need. And he looks like he's all pained in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I don't mind that. Okay, money. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a
So I can offer you $27. Oh, motherfucker! God, fuck, motherfuck! Whew.
Somebody's typing again.
What was I saying? You got to give it up though. I did like the visual, even though it was goofy, the whole thing
thought it was
hanging out of him. I like the visual of the nerves being like wound. It was like a harpsichord or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I did like that, and you're absolutely right, Larry. There's no way. I mean, unless the magic imbibed by the Cenobites won't let you kill yourself, there's no way after 6 minutes he wouldn't have killed himself,
Right.
let alone 6 years.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Eve said we went out of order. That's okay.
Well, of course,
It's
we
okay.
always go out of
Don't
order.
worry about it.
We got to order.
You're
Did-
out of order.
well,
Did any-
I'm out of order.
for Eve really quickly. They try to sacrifice another Cenobite. He chases him around a while, then the Cenobite gets locked in the gate.
That's how it
Yeah.
happens.
Right.
She drops the thing. Boy comes out and blows up the boyfriend's spot.
Yeah, that's right. She after they killed Chatterer, she realized, oh, here's what we can do then. Fucking
Lure
Got
one
it.
in.
yeah, we can finish this configuration by killing another Cenobite. So
But then
that's-
it's funny because all the things the Cenobites can do, and
They
then
can't
it's
get
like,
out of a gate.
he's kind of just
really
stuck. Like,
Yeah.
oh damn it,
his skin's
damn.
like falling off, but he can't get
pull
out
his
of the
ears
fucking gate.
out.
Yeah.
I am one of the 27 lords of hell. Yeah, but you're stuck in a gate, bitch.
Can you open the
Fair.
elevator door, please? All right.
Yeah, I will agree, Eric. When the stuck Cenobite struggles and tears the flesh off, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment. Did any of you guys? Because this is what I thought when you finally did get the reveal that Luca has hired Trevor
Yeah.
to do all this. Did you guys start to think that we're going to find out that Riley was somehow important in this whole thing in terms of like, she's somebody's grand? You know what I mean? Did you think that he hired him because he needed this girl? And what makes it kind of lame is that he didn't need this girl.
Oh, I didn't feel that way at all.
I was
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Seems
Is
so
you were
random.
hoping for
Give me a
it,
reasoning.
right? That's what I'm saying. Were you hoping
I was
that
hoping
you were
for
going
a
to
reason
discover?
behind any of this.
Right.
I was just like, please give me something to fucking latch
16
on.
years in the making. Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This thing has been
Give me
started
something
and
to
stopped many times.
anchor myself onto this 2-hour fucking film, please.
You know what I read yesterday?
It was almost 3 hours.
Well, listen, no, and I read this in two different places. At one point, maybe like 10 years ago, when they had the most traction on making this reboot before now or whatever it is, at the time, the actor that they wanted to replace, well, not Doug Bradley, but whoever had replaced Doug Bradley, and I thought this guy would be fucking good. William Fichtner. You know who William Fichtner is?
No.
Nope.
He is in the beginning of The Dark Knight. He's the bank manager. He's in Heat. He's a character actor, but he always plays. He's in Armageddon.
Shitload.
He's Colonel Willie Sharp in Armageddon. He's the pilot of the ship. I thought, man, that guy would have been a fucking good fucking Pinhead.
That
But-
guy's a sick actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, right. Good choice. That's a good choice, Patrick.
Yeah.
So now she's nothing. She's not important. Unfortunately, that makes no sense. But as the story is going along, we're getting to the end here, and Larry, how do we get to the point from this to where Luca comes out again, and it kind of wraps up to everything happening, like at the end of this thing?
Well, the very end, Luca's becoming a Cenobite, right? But you mean before that?
Before that, like how does everything wrap up
Oh,
with his story, and then moving into like the final option or offer to Riley?
yeah. Actually, I don't remember who the
Something
last...
to do with Colin, right?
Was it? Colin had gotten stabbed, right? That's the one that fucking Luca stabbed. But I don't
Yeah.
remember who the last sacrifice was how she won, because she won. She got her.
Right.
She got her choice, but what was the last? I don't remember what the fucking last sacrifice.
It's about to be Colin. He's about to get ripped apart by
Yeah.
like barbed
Right.
wire.
Oh, that's right. And then she traded, but who the fuck did she trade for?
The boyfriend.
The boyfriend. That's right. She's like, hold on. They said, fucking Pearl the Pinhead said that I could choose, that I could make a fucking choice. So she's like, and she just looks over there, and all the gift wrapping, the bows, whatever, the fucking piano wire comes off of
Right.
boyfriend, and the her brother's boyfriend, and goes
Tom
on to the
Gady's
other-
boyfriend.
Right. That's right. Yeah, I couldn't.
Come
figure
on,
it
he
out.
has
I
a name.
forgot.
Let's call him Colin.
Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady.
So
So he's the final sacrifice to get to the final configuration. Thus she wins. You win. Congratulations. Now Pinhead's going to
Yay.
tell you a bunch of words you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pinhead goes through all of what Mike said before, but
Yeah.
she knows something, right, Manster? What has she figured out, especially through Luca's whole ordeal? Because Luca says he tells everybody what ended up happening to me was this. You know, I'm this fucking rich dude. I've done everything. You know, I've fucked midgets in Belize. I've gone
Right.
skydiving. I've done it all.
I was on ER.
I was on ER for fucking 4 years.
You need something after that.
I need something new to go on, right? And he said, you know, I get this box and I choose the sensation, grand prize. But unfortunately, what is sensation to me, which would be like, you know, just constantly like my getting off, my dick being, you know, fucking rubbed or whatever, is not sensation to these fucking motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
Sensation to them is putting a golden accordion through my fucking chest.
Yeah.
And, you know, and winding up my nerves like every fucking 6 minutes or whatever it is. So he finally they let him go because he chooses the power option. So kind of a cool scene where the thing falls apart and all of the workings come out of him. But then immediately afterwards, right, he gets sucked up by a giant chain to Leviathan.
Big
right?
chain.
This big fucking
Big
like
chain.
Titanic-sized anchor
Right.
chain.
Yeah.
Rips him up in the sky.
Yep.
So now we get to Riley. Okay, what's your choice? And Officer Mike, based on what I just said, what choice does she make?
She makes the choice for the lament configuration life.
Yeah.
She
Sorrow.
figures out she realizes that her brother is truly gone. So
Mhm.
she gives up on the idea, and then she just walks away.
Right.
She knows that no matter what
She
they
knows
give her,
all they offer is pain.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say it is. If it's resurrection, it's going to be he's resurrected as a zombie or something. If
Yeah.
it's not going to work out. This is the ultimate shit deal.
It's like
It's-
that Pet Cemetery resurrection.
Yeah,
Nobody wants that.
It's the
Sometimes dead is better.
I feel like
Right.
I feel
Well,
like every choice just ends up with
this
chains
was
and
in
hooks, yeah.
Massachusetts, so that guy could have come by.
Fuck, I wish Judd was in this. That would
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah,
Hey, Lois, stay off the road.
When they run around outside, just pans over and he's on the porch for the Budweiser. Hey!
You see little Gage getting hit by a truck. Bomb.
Oh,
Oh,
oh. And Eve's right. It's all going to be pain.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So at the
all
end,
pain.
her and Colin survives. They get into her car, and he says to her, "Do you think you made the right choice?" And it kind of fades out on that, like, she doesn't really answer it. But then we get like a Marvel style pre-credits scene, but it's like a little stinger, and we get to see Luca's final,
Luca.
reward.
I love how we're calling him Luca.
Yeah.
Luca,
It's a character from
Take his
ER.
final form.
his final form.
Is Luca, Dr.
what-
Luca.
Manster, what is his final form? What happens to him?
His final form, holy shit, he gets he's like on this sort of Ankh looking background. His arms are out. He's got this thing that comes up and peels the side of his face off, so revealing like just his teeth, and it's pinned to the side, and he looks all fucked up pretty much.
Yeah, well, don't forget, they need to do Chatterer. Chatterer's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, that's right.
And, so that's the Dr. Chenard from part 2.
I was waiting for that big thing to grab the back of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You
that's
just
gotta
kind
be
of
the
just
sequel.
kind of move him around, shit. I loved that fucking.
Hey
thing.
guys, can you crane me closer? Because I want to kill that dude.
Yeah.
Baphomet.
Yeah, he gets told he does kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he gets turned into Baphomet from Nightbreed, which, by the way, is still playing at the Strand from April of 2020 or whatever the fuck that was.
The uncut.
Oh my!
I told
fucking
you
word.
I've since gotten a longer version, right? I told you that.
Yeah, good for you.
We're
Chatterer
not-
dies tonight.
We're not playing anything else Saturday. We're just gonna
God
play
damn it.
Nightbreed.
Yeah, we're just playing Nightbreed for 4 hours.
Don't do that to me.
And it's just 3 hours of Lori singing in the club.
Oh yes.
In that honky tonk in the middle of like
Right.
Canada.
Oshkosh, Canada. Hey,
Yeah, in the middle of Saskatchewan.
Saskatoon. All right, let's do favorite kill time, kids. And everybody out there can play as well. Manster, let's start with you. What's your favorite kill in this film?
Unfortunately, so many of the kills are similar because they're all getting ripped apart. But I'm going to go with, although Nora was pretty cool, the way she was folded and ripped in half, but I'm going to go with the Cenobite who was killed. He was just fucking obliterated.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, he blew up like a fucking bag of like chicken parts. Just ba-boom!
Poor Chatterer.
Fuck you, ba-boom! All right, I'll go next. I'm going to go with Nora. I thought that whole van scene was very cool.
Yeah.
Stylistically, again with the passenger compartment like floating out and just everything. That was also our introduction to Pinhead at this point with her, who are you praying to, all that stuff. And then she just fucking like, it reminded me of if you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when Willow she flays a kid, she takes all his skin off. And it kind of reminded me of that, with just like a flick of the wrist, it all comes off. All right, Officer Mike, Clive Barker fan out there, what kill got you the most?
I would say Nora, but I would, for gore, I would really say your friend Luca / Voight's change into a Cenobite.
God
Yeah.
damn it, Mike, you stole mine.
I mean, I said nothing. Larry, what do you say? Yeah,
It's-
I mean, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that I agree with Mike. That's my favorite. Is it a kill scene?
It's not a
I don't
kill,
know.
really, but it's
But
gore.
you know
It's the
what?
best
My
gore.
favorite part of it was actually definitely
His
not a kill
looking
scene.
at
It's
his
after the machinery falls out and the healing, like all the nerves
Yeah,
like
that was
coming
good.
That
back
was really
together.
good.
Like
His
I
spine.
thought that was
yeah.
spine coming back together. I thought that was really, really well done. So maybe technically not a kill, but it's my favorite gore part of the movie anyway.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's rate this thing. Let's talk about what we thought here on Scary Larry's House of Horrors. Of course, 0 to 5, 0 being the worst, 5 being the best, quarter and half scale optional. Larry, what are we rating this based on?
Configurations.
Configurations. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start with
How many configurations?
Well,
let's
there's
start with
6. Go all the way.
let's start with the man of the hour. Let's start with the guy who this is all named after. I want to know what he thought of this. Scary Larry Dwyer.
Yay.
What do you think of Hellraiser 2022?
So, I mean, I feel like, what have we been talking for like a little over an hour? I feel like we pooped on it a lot in an hour, but I think it's better than that. It is slow. It is too long. A lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it happens. Most of it happens. All of it happens for no reason, actually.
Yeah.
Really. But when you get down to it, it's the best one since Hellbound, in my opinion. I think this is better than what are there, fucking 9 total? I think this is better than all since Hellbound.
That's such a
which
high bar.
I was going to say, which isn't really saying very much.
It's better than poop.
Yeah, because the best part of part
Slightly
3,
better than poop.
the best part of part 3 was that Danny Tartable from the Yankees was in it. Other than that, real piece of shit, and everything else was even worse after that. So it is the best after Hellbound. I really did enjoy the Cenobites if I didn't like their backgrounds. I thought that they could have been used better, and I really missed them being in their creepy dungeons with the chains hanging, and but it was good to see them back. I liked the changes. I liked the Cenobites. I liked that woman as the priest. I think there's potential here if they want to do another one. I'll be on board. I'll watch it. But as for this one itself, How many configurations out of 5? I'll go 2.75,
All
which
right.
is okay.
Stu gives it a
2.75.
2.5-ish and then immediately goes to 2.75 question mark.
Yeah.
Patrick, 2.75. He gives it.
Yeah.
Eric doesn't give it a number better than Deader. I don't know what
Okay.
Deader is.
Okay.
And Eve says a solid 2.
Ooh.
That's
Solid
not
2.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
A
pretty
2
good.
You
is less
you could
than.
have a solid 2.
You can.
Can you?
Eh.
You can.
Sir
All
John
right.
taught us that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did. He
okay.
did.
All right.
John would rail against something for 25 minutes and then go, it was a solid 3. All right, I'll go next. Too long.
Yeah.
Too long. A lot of the plot is just there because it's plot, and we should have had an answer as to why she was important to this. We should have had the addiction angle should have been better, right? It
Right.
seems like it was built up to be like, hey, she's an addict, and here's this whole franchise that's based on the addiction of people to things, and we're not going to use that after we get out of the first 25 minutes of the movie. It doesn't matter. It's all
Right.
set up. But I did enjoy a lot of it. I do think again Jamie Clayton was really good as Pinhead. It is a slasher cast, but I didn't see the boyfriend turn coming. I should have, because why did he know about the shipment? Well, it just seemed too easy, but the movie did a good enough job of making me forget that. And when his turn happened, I went, oh shit, the boyfriend's a shitbag. So I kind of like that. I'm going to mirror Larry exactly and go 2.75. It's a good building block. I do think there's some good gore, but again, just some of the writing is a little bit weak. Deader is the 7th Hellraiser movie, Eric says. And then Holly gives it 1. Wow, 1. And Notkin gives it 3 out of 5. All right. Let's go over to Officer Mike, who
Ooh.
loves him some Hellraiser. He was on last year's episode of The Pint where we talked about Hellraiser 87 on Halloween. That was our Halloween episode.
What did he give it? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't think it was a 5, right? I have to listen back to it.
4.75.
He was like right there. He was right
All
there.
The budget brought it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you can see that too much. So I like the new look of the Cenobites.
Yeah.
I like the walk, not just because she's female. I like the change instead of because I think it's a good step away from Doug Bradley.
Right.
The last couple, like you get a guy who's trying to be Doug Bradley, then you get like a fat guy who's trying to be Doug Bradley, and it's just ugly. So I think this is a nice change. A nice little touch that they did not overdo is that they use the same music. So I like that they kept the music score. But again, to your point, John, like the story makes no sense. There's no reason why this girl, the star girl, is in it. There's no reason why it has to be her. It could have been anything. I'm going to give it a 2.5. I don't really look forward to what they're going to do next with this, but there are some possibilities. And I think maybe they've opened the door with the 6 configurations to do it correctly, meaning somebody else can go get the cube and have a whole fucked up thing. They just want something completely different. Some other different person, wants something completely different. And maybe Luca shows up with Pinhead and, they fuck him up and whatever. But 2.5, that's being very generous, but I liked the attempt. After 9 garbage attempts, I'll give him a little something.
All right. Finish it off, Master. What do you got?
Yeah, well, you guys said a lot of what I was going to say. So to me, these are more fashionable Cenobites. I like the fact that Pinhead is a woman, and I like the different female Cenobites, if you can call it. I mean, they're probably asexual, but to me, they felt more fashionable than grotesque and mutilated. I think you're probably going to start more installments.
I'm sure.
Maybe the next one be any better. I'm not looking forward to watching the next one unless somebody says, "Hey, this is pretty good. It's better than the first one." Then I'll watch it. I think to sort of reiterate that, I think it needed to be more repulsive and less glamorous.
It needed to be sexier. There needed to be
It
more
needed to be
sex.
sexier. The sexual themes and the perversions and the pain for pleasure. I didn't feel any of that. I feel like if you've got a person who's like just growing up now, and this is the first time they've ever seen Hellraiser,
Oh, that's
they're
sad.
gonna be like, "Well, what the fuck are these things? This
that
isn't
would be
even
sad.
good, right?" But
Right.
I think we're more biased because we know Hellraiser in the original, and we know what it's really about. So this is so watered down and so neutral and neutered. I'm gonna give it. I really want to give it a 2, but I'm gonna give it a 2.25.
All right.
I give it the lament configuration.
Life.
That's
give it
I
life.
give it the lament configuration.
I give it a golden typewriter turned sideways and shoved into somebody's stomach.
Right. Weird choice. Weird choice with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But I think it was Patrick that pointed out before I noticed the same thing that your friend Luca had suits made so that he could wear it around
Yeah.
his
Yes.
typewriter.
Yes. Well, he's rich, and rich
Yeah, he's
people
rich.
do what,
Hey guys,
you know.
I need like a Savile Row suit, but can I have like
Yeah.
I need an oval out in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't
But
ask
it has
why.
that
He's
really
on the
nice
phone with
stitching.
he's on the phone with Armani. Like, hey, you gotta outfit me with this. You know.
I suffer from a rare condition where I have a hole through my midsection
Right.
and a golden accordion shoved
Need a-
through it.
I need a good stretch material.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a doctor, I can't remove this damn thing.
Yeah, I've tried.
Right.
I made a bad choice.
Yep.
All right, well that was fun, guys. Thanks for all that. Let's go to www.connecticutcultclassics this weekend. Are you going to be there? I'm asking you people out there. Are you going to be there? 82-inch chest, 33-inch sleeve. We have the amazing death and rebirth. That's what it's called, of
That's something
Jason
like that, yeah.
Voorhees.
Something like that.
That's going to be an awesome time. Part 4, the final chapter, which is not the final chapter, and part 6, with Jason Lives, which is it's not good. We're skipping right over the good one, part 5. Stu will not be there.
Well, we're skipping over the one with Officer Mike, unfortunately.
Officer Mike, yeah, absolutely right, absolutely. All right, Eric. Eric might not be there. He's
right.
suffering from the same thing going on in Larry's household, but
Bummer.
I won't be there myself.
you're not gonna be there either. All right, well,
my kids this weekend.
all right.
Don't forget though, this weekend.
Yeah.
And
Tomorrow.
Let's talk about that real quick since we have some time. Manster and myself and our buddy Chris Frodell, we went in 2018, saw the first one, did not like it, but we said that night we were going to go every year. COVID fucked everything up, so then 2 years later, we went last year and saw Halloween Kills, which was fucking 19
Way
times
worse.
But we said we got to finish this together. So tomorrow night, the three of us are going to go up to the theater and see this one.
Nightmare ends.
And I read a review this morning, just one, not non-spoiler, that it was on Twitter, and it was from it was an actual reviewer. It wasn't like just some influencer or whatever. And it said, if you thought Halloween Kills was bad,
oh god,
you are
Jesus.
in for it on this one. You're in for it on
dude,
this
just from the trailer alone. Like I watched the trailer and I cringed 17 times.
I haven't seen the trailer.
one. I only watched
yeah.
the first trailer that they came out with way back then. Eric, I got to be honest with you, and Holly as well. I hated Terrifier. I don't understand.
Oh, it's fucking awful.
Yeah, I thought, hey, look, if you're in it for the gore, then I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But like, I watched that movie like 6 years ago or whatever when it came out, and everybody was talking about it, and I did not understand the fervor over that. So no,
Yeah.
Terrifier
I'm
2 is
You're
not on my
going
list.
you're going a long way to just call it a movie, frankly.
Yeah.
Well-
a movie. It's just whatever.
Well,
It's just random scenes.
Larry very nicely takes the Connecticut Cult Classics group, and it's the same thing. We go see these movies, we fucking hate them, then we show up in the next one.
Yep.
So we'll do the same thing on Friday. We'll
Yeah.
go and we'll be like, yay, and we'll fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Except for
and
Mark.
funny thing-
Except for
funny-
Mark. Mark will love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But funny thing, John, I was actually talking to Curtis Spieler today, and he reminded me that he saw you guys coming out of the first one.
That's
One of
right.
What he said, you said this is like the Phantom Menace of horror
He-
movies or something like that.
Well, no. So we went the first year in 18 and the Plainville Theater. And before the movie started, we ran into Curtis, who at that time we had kind of just met and seen The Devil's Well, and I think we interviewed him for the show and get along with a great guy, awesome director. And he was so psyched He was so psyched to go in to see that movie, and I think everybody had that feeling like this is they're getting back to it. We got Danny McBride,
Jamie Lee Curtis is back.
Jamie Lee
Like,
Curtis is back for more. Everybody's excited, okay? And so we go in and we see the movie, and then when the movie ends, the three of us are just talking, and we're like, "Fuck, that was fucking not good." And we're in the lobby, and we're just talking, and people are kind of gathering around in their separate groups talking, and then Curtis comes out of the theater with his friend, and he comes over and talks to us, and I shit you not, he looked like someone stole his teddy bear.
He did.
Because he went in with such like awesome expectations, and then he came out and he was just like, it was in focus. It was in focus, and they're still serving popcorn and soda here, so that was normal. But and I just thought of like myself when I was younger, 23 or 24, when the Phantom Menace came out. I saw it in the movies like 3 times because I could not admit to myself that it was what it was.
I only needed one.
This is great.
Opening
this is great
night.
again.
Opening night. I was like, oh, pod races. Great.
No way, Patrick. Terrifier 2 is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
is.
God.
It is.
Oh,
I know plenty of
Christ.
people who have seen it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank God. Thank God, too. Let's please. Maybe the next one will be 5 hours long. Why not?
Yeah, so we couldn't do Friday this year, so we're going on the preview night of Thursday, which I'm sure there's going to be all the and people. I'll be honest. When we saw Halloween Kills last year, as fucking bad as that movie was, the people in the theaters, a lot of the fans seemed to love that movie.
Yeah.
You remember, like there was a lot of like
People in the theaters loved it. Yeah.
as soon as that like CGI'd kind of Loomis shows up and they did Michael kill again? Did Michael kill again? And then people are just like, yes. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, 2.5 hours, I guess, Eric. Yeah, young moviegoers love those new Michael Myers movies. So we'll see. Well, maybe we'll talk about that at some point.
Well, and I get it. I had this same, not to just keep going on and on. A few years ago, a few years actually before this 2018 Halloween, I had a conversation with a friend who is younger, and the Rob Zombie Halloween is like her favorite movie, but that's what she grew up with. So I have to understand that. I have to respect that. Like, I get it. And these kids, they're 19, 20. This is the Michael Myers that they're growing up with. This is their Halloween. So it's going to be their favorite. I don't agree with it, but
They just need to get off our lawn.
they do need to get off my lawn.
get off our lawn.
Yeah, get the fuck off my lawn and take your fucking shitty Halloween movies with you.
I remember how mad you were, Larry, just because you loved part 2 and they were throwing part 2 out the window.
Right.
Yeah.
I do love part 2 as a
Yeah.
continuation of part 1. I love it.
Here's one for everybody out there.
Tell me what happened. Did Michael kill? Did Michael kill again? Tell me what happened. Did Michael kill? Did Michael kill again?
Did he kill? Did he kill again?
So
That was the beginning of the movie, and at that point, I think me, Lloyd, and Chris just looked at each other and went, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah,
and then
we're
you get,
for it.
and then you get Evil Dies Tonight.
Oh.
You get the people of Haddonfield thinking that Danny DeVito as the Penguin is Michael
was
Myers.
Michael Myers, yeah.
You get Big John and Little John, which which is
They were
fine.
Actually, yeah, they were all right.
They were fine, but it still seems like it's from a different movie. That's certainly Danny McBride right there. You know he came up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. If I wanted to like shoot myself, not take a shot, but just fucking shoot myself every time somebody says "Evil Dies Tonight."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, Eve,
shut
Eve
the
the
fuck-
lady does Eve actually know that lady with the iron does appearances at conventions? Like, she actually goes to
Jesus.
conventions with a table and her stupid iron and signs fucking autographs.
Oh my God.
Come on,
Christ.
dude.
Wow.
That's the draw.
It's a way to make
Next
a
year.
living.
It is a way to make
Tell
it.
me what happened. Did Michael kill again?
Fucking movie, man. Fucking movie.
Well, we'll see it Friday. Usually we do the Thursdays as well, but I have a baseball game to coach tomorrow night, so we're doing Friday this year.
It's funny to go. It's funny to think of going to the movies as an obligation, and that's how I look at this every year.
It is.
It's
It is.
great.
Right.
It's great to hang out with my friends. It's great to go to a movie. It's great to have the popcorn. Great to have the Pepsi. It sucks to watch the movie, but
Yeah, but I'm like that with all of them, dude. I saw Firestarter just a few months ago. Whenever the
Ooh.
fuck that came out,
you saw that in
I-
the theaters.
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I would see that in the theaters. I took Mike and the gang to see the new Scream. Like,
And what did you do when you went home from Firestarter?
oh, dude, I watched the original. I put it
That's
in
it.
immediately. I just like cleansed myself. I was like, oh,
Yeah. So
I
I
need
text
to-
Larry.
I
I
need
was
to
like,
put
"How
in
was
this-
it?"
I need to put in this not very good fucking Stephen King movie to wash that awful fucking remake of the Stephen King movie out of my eyes. Just like, oh,
I'll be
oh,
honest.
I watched it from home, but I bailed out after 10 minutes.
oh, it's so bad.
It's just too much.
That okay? So real quick again, because we're on. Let's just
Yeah.
go through it real quick. You guys, any of you guys watch the Munsters?
I watched
Not
enough of
really.
it.
A little, but yeah.
I watched none of it. But Larry, what you just said and what you just said, Mike, except for a few podcasts that I listened to that did it for the show, most people are saying I watched like 20 minutes and bailed. I watched like 15 minutes and bailed. It just looks bad.
Right, right. And then there's people out there saying, well, you know, the people who don't like it must have never paid attention to the show because it's the same campy humor. No, this isn't funny. The show's humor was actually funny.
Right.
These jokes don't land. These jokes don't work.
That's
it's
the Blu-ray
bad.
cover quote.
Once again,
I
I
watched enough of it.
the secret here to go back to Pet Cemetery is Fred Gwynn. I mean, that's the
Oh,
secret sauce.
yeah.
He makes.
You're
it all.
right, actually. Holy shit, dude! And again, here we go again.
You sure it wasn't
We're
Dale
gonna keep-
Midkin or whatever his name is?
Dale Midkiff, worst fucking actor. Dude, him and the wife in that movie are like
Denise
two of the
Crosby.
worst- Oh, the worst. They are just the absolute worst. But I'm sure
Tasha
I've
Yar.
said this before. Did you see the Pet Cemetery remake?
No, I heard it was so
I
bad
saw-
I avoided
saw
it.
that one.
Listen.
Yeah.
So
The
John
Parade of Kids.
Lithgow plays the Fred Gwynn character, plays Judd in the remake.
Yeah.
Okay? And you remember Judd. Judd's a lifelong Mainer. That's what Judd is. John Lithgow plays this character with no Maine accent.
No accent.
None
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. I'm like, are you going to tell me that the amazing John Lithgow can't pull off a Maine accent? Or did he just take the money and run? Did he just say,
Take
fine,
the
give me
money.
the paycheck
Take the money.
and I'll go and say these words, but I'm not gonna learn a fucking dialect for it. Like,
He did take a paycheck because he's an actual exceptionally
He's a
good
great
actor.
that's
that
what I'm
wants to be.
saying. You can't
it's
tell
like
me
you
that he
can't
can't
even-
do a Maine accent.
Forget
He
the main
played
accent.
like-
You can't even be decent.
Dude, he played like 10 people in Raising Cain. Of course he can do a fucking Maine accent.
Well, good news here. Apparently, Patrick knows they're rebooting
Perfect.
Pet Cemetery again. That was like 2
Well,
years ago, wasn't
what?
it? Like,
Listen, they can't do anything worse than that last one. They're
Maybe
probably
they,
gonna
they
make
can
it
throw the
that.
twist out the door in the trailer again. Hey, somebody else dies from the truck.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
time it's a cat.
this time it's Edward Furlong from Pet Cemetery 2 back in 1991.
Yes.
Uh,
I
Aren't
want
they
to see
just,
him Terminator
Salem's
2
Lot. Salem's Lot's
hacking an
coming out
ATM
soon.
and then get hit by a truck.
yeah, New
Salem's Lot
Salem's
is coming
Lot.
out soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Salem's
yeah.
Lot is
That's-
coming out soon.
Possible.
I'll
And
go
there's
see it.
there's one on Netflix right now too. What is that? A Stephen King.
Oh, that's not a
adaptation.
remake though. That's a new
No,
one.
but I mean it's just
Mr.
an adaptation.
Harrigan's phone. Mr.
Yeah,
Harrigan.
any good?
That's
I
not
haven't
even
seen
a
that.
good story.
Yeah, it's a
No,
bad
yeah.
story.
I don't know the
That's
story.
a
I
Stephen
don't
King
know why they would make that.
not understanding iPhones writing a book about it.
Oh, good.
Patrick lied to us. It's just a prequel to the last shitty movie.
Good. We need a prequel. That's perfect. Thank God. Thank God it's a
Oh,
prequel.
I think she's
Yeah, we
saying
need more of
not a
those.
horror for
Ah.
the.
Yeah, but you got to make sure you name it the same.
Yes.
All
Hopefully
movies
named
moving
Pet Cemetery.
forward are just the exact same name.
I wish all these Halloweens in this trilogy were just all Halloween. Every year, Halloween, 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 Halloween. Fuck. Oh, well.
They should just
Stupid.
change the number of L's in Halloween.
I
There
think
you
we're
go.
Hey, look at this guy.
I think we're just bitter and old. Old.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
All the young kids are like, man, I love that movie.
Leave
Shut
my
up, you
horror
old
alone.
bastards.
Get off of my horror lawn.
Go back
All right.
to the old age home.
It's been fun, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thanks,
we'll be
everybody.
back soon. And just real quick, this week's episode coming up on the Pint is The House of the Devil with our good friend Bob Howard. And then next
that
week is Street Trash, which is the first episode of Scary Larry's House of Horrors season 3 losers list. And if you go over to Patreon, yes, The Visitor is coming, Patrick, I swear to you. If you go over to Patreon, Escape from LA just came out. That was a fun one. So until next time, see ya.
See ya.